Dear fellow white people, the events of this week are poignant. My wife is black, and last week our 2-year-old daughter got second-degree burns. Due to COVID-19, the hospital would only allow one parent in. Despite my daughter being most comforted by her mother, we had to choose me. We knew that she would get prioritized, respected, and receive better care with a white father than she would with a black mother. We knew that the night before, a hospital in Boston had their security guards throw a black woman out onto the street. I normally avoid sharing stories like this with my white friends because I don't want to have to deal with their discomfort over race. I don't want the exhaustion of them awkwardly fumbling around and painstakingly ensuring I know that they're not part of the problem. And my avoidance of sharing these realities makes me part of the problem. The truth is that all of us white people contribute to racism. It's easy to get bought off that we don't commit overt acts of racism. But we're all co-conspirators in another kind of racism that's more dangerous because it's invisible to us. It's the systematic and subtle racism that impacts everybody except for us. It's like water to a fish. I don't claim to be woke and am clear that I'm very much in the water myself, but I've started to see the cracks, and I want to shine the light on a few things that us white people think and say that hold a system of racism securely in place. I don't see color. This is a common nonsensical phrase that us white people use as a shield. Nothing scares us more than the idea of being seen as racist. It goes against everything we want to believe about ourselves. And race conversations are so deeply uncomfortable that we avoid them at all cost because it feels like our insides are exploding. Just to be safe, we even go so far as to attempt to refer to someone without ever mentioning their race. You know, the guy with the jeans, white shirt. Oh, you mean the black guy? Maybe we would begin to see color if the statistics were reversed. Every US president but one is a black man. Almost every governor is a black man. Almost every senator is a black man. Almost every representative is a black man. Almost every mayor is a black man. Almost every judge is a black man. Almost every lawyer is a black man. Almost every CEO is a black man. Almost every school teacher is black. Almost every police chief is a black man. Almost every police officer is a black man. Every other week, we see another video of black cops brutalizing and murdering unarmed white people without ever being charged. Would we see color if no one with any authority looked like us? If no one with the ability to change the system looked like us? If no one who is supposed to represent our interests looked like us? It's not that we don't see color, it's actually that we don't have to see color. And that is the scary P word that us white people are also deeply uncomfortable with: privilege. What to do? Stop lying about not seeing color. Pretending that race doesn't exist isn't helping anything besides our comfort. It's damaging because it denies reality and keeps problems in place. It's time to open our mouths and talk as much about race as possible, even though it feels uncomfortable. All lives matter. No, they don't. There's a hierarchy. White lives matter significantly more than all other lives. Then there's a clear order of importance which can easily be measured by statistics, and on the very bottom end is black lives. If black lives mattered, then there would be a state of emergency declared that the death rate from COVID-19 among black people is more than twice that of white people. If black lives mattered, then white people would be more outraged over never-ending police brutality than they are about someone stealing a TV. Black Lives Matter is not the exclusion of white lives or other lives. It's simply a reference to the fact that black lives historically, and still very much today, are not valued equally. Privilege is when equality feels like oppression. I get it. Us white people are overly sensitive from never having been excluded from anything in our entire lives. So let me make a small adjustment to make it easier to swallow. Black lives matter too. There, see? Not so bad. What to do? Stop saying all lives matter and stop your white friends from saying it. Start saying Black Lives Matter too and keep saying it until it becomes true. Say anything. The silence from so many of us white people is deafening. I get that race is uncomfortable, but people's lives are more important than our comfort. It's better to say something and mess it all up than it is to say nothing. It's our silence that holds everything in place, and the impact is that people are literally dying. Civil rights happened and things are equal now. Like most white people, I grew up subscribing to this farce. It wasn't until later that I began to see countless examples of how the system favors white people, large and small. From unconscious bias, being automatically liked and trusted, instead of automatically feared and not trusted, to stereotypes, to access to jobs, to access to education, to access to capital, to access to healthcare, to access to resources, and it continues endlessly. Black people face thousands of barriers, injustices, and incidents of discrimination over a lifetime. They have an exponential compounding effect. To us white people, there's an opposite compounding effect. Every door is open, which leads to more open doors. Everything is invisibly working to our advantage and the disadvantage of others. We travel miles farther and faster than anyone else, blind to the fact that we're the only ones wearing boots. Then we look back and cruelly tell them that it's their fault for being lazy and not pulling up their bootstraps. What to do? Start to consider that there's a whole world that exists, even if you can't see it. Start to look for inequalities. Do research. Be a safe space of love and listening for your Black friends. Get interested in learning the kinds of things they face that you never have. Be patient if they're exhausted from having to explain it again to another white person. Be understanding if they are angry and frustrated. I know that we will have to have the talk with my future son, the one where we explain that anytime he's pulled over or interacting with the police, his life is in danger. It doesn't matter if he's angry because it's his 20th time being pulled over for no reason. It doesn't matter if he's harassed, humiliated, and treated like a subhuman. He can't express any frustration or demand dignity, because doing so could land him in jail or worse. My hope and my prayer is that there will come a day when parents no longer have to have the talk. When us white people open our eyes to see the water and open our mouths to demand justice. Cancer can't be treated until it is first detected. The roots of racism in this country are deep. They can't be removed and healed until us white people have the courage to see that we've been the ones watering them all along.